Or to GSoC, which is coming to you as the first phase of the Boost 1.0, organized by the IEEE Computer Society Student Branch chapter of SLTC. So without any further ado, I invite the co-chairman of the Boost 1.0, Harvinder Sir, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Tejani. Good evening, all. I'm thoroughly pleased to witness you all here in this session, and it's my privilege to address you all. First, I would like to welcome our resource person, Ms. Jaimini Alupathe, the Executive Committee of the IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter, project advisors and academic advisors, organizing committee members, and all the participants to this awareness session. We are truly delighted with your presence. The IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter of SLTC proudly presents Boost 1.0 as the first initiative for the year 2022. The series includes mainly two sessions, which are Session 1, Road to GSoC 2022, and Session 2, OpenStack. We all have gathered here today to attend the awareness session in Google Summer of Code with the Road to GSoC. This workshop covers the area of what is GSoC, how can we apply the procedure of GSoC, and what are the benefits of participating in GSoC. So once again, I'm profoundly delighted to take an opportunity to welcome the resource person for the evening, Ms. Jabini Alupathe, for accepting our invitation and becoming the resource person for today's event, even though I had a busy schedule day. And also a special thank must go to the Executive Committee of the IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter, project advisors and academic advisors, and the organizing committee for organizing this timely webinar. I hope everyone is aware of the themes concerning the session. We hope to have a great time with you all. Looking forward to many more such workshops, engaging more people and on a greater level. So without consuming any time, I welcome you all guys once again and request you to get this golden opportunity to develop your knowledge on Google Summer of Code for further studies as well as for your upcoming career lives to be better. Thank you all, and over to you, Teja.
How to participate on it and its procedure. For that, we cordially invite Ms. Jaimini Alupathe as the resource person for today's session. She has graduated from the University of Peradeniya and is currently pursuing a PhD in computer science at the Queensland University of Technology, Australia. Before we begin the session, let me clarify a few things. If you have any questions regarding the Google Summer of Code, post them to the link that will be shared with you in due time. If your questions are already in there, you can vote that question. And please do not present those same questions which are already there. So I invite our resource person, Ms. Jaimini Alupathe, to continue the session.
Okay, thank you for inviting me, first of all. So I hope you can see the screen and the presentation. All right, so I'm Jamini Alupathe. I participated Google Summer of Code in 2016, which is 6 years ago. Time flies. All right, so today's topic is Road to GSoC, Google Summer of Code. So I mainly prepared this presentation based on my experience and my friend's experience. So I try to generalize it, and if you have any questions, please shoot. What is Google Summer of Code? So Google Summer of Code, it's an online program, and the main target is to provide to open source community. Google started this one, so they select open source organizations first, and then they those open source organizations, they ask students or contributors to join their organizations and do some small work. And usually those projects are they require like 12 weeks of programming. So there are two categories, small projects and large projects. We will come to that later, but mainly there are 2 weeks of programming. Okay, so Google Summer of Code has a long history, 17 years, and you can see 18,000 students. And the main important thing is 14 million plus line of codes. So it's a lot. So this year's program has been already announced. We are in the mid. Organizations are announced. Now, on the 5th of April, the contributors can apply. So let's go to the programming code. So this is the website. In the website, if you go down below, you will see organizations. And then there are some links for mentors, and this is the full programming. All right, so here you can see, right now we are here. So Google contributors application begins. So you can, so this is for April 4th in Australian time, I hope. So it means that in now the contributors should be have done their research and start application. And then after this one, they are going to select the applications, and then they will announce the selected contributors. Okay, so since we are here, I want to say that right now we are this one, the contribute application period. So basically, in this application period, contributors should have prepared their proposals, and then they can submit those proposals. So we are already late for the program because writing proposals required organization's approval. So, but still we can do something because the deadline is 19th, or in Australian times 12th in Sri Lankan time. Okay, what are the organizations? So there are 220 organizations. So these are the organizations selected for this year. So you can see there are so many organizations, especially Chromium, and there should be Tor, and Git, and Eclipse also should be here. And there are so many organizations that you can go and check. So before going into this organization, I want to talk about the benefits. The first thing is that you get paid. So Google pays you to do these projects, and then the open source experience. So you have to work with the open source community, and not just your mentor, but you join the community of that organization, and then you learn to work in groups, and also how to work individually. So it's a very good experience. And the second thing is that at the end of the program, you will have something for yourself. So this code will be published. So it's going to be under your name. So open source culture. So in open source culture, you learn things from experienced people. So because you when if you have something like a question or some kind of a suggestions, you post them in the community forum. So many people check those questions, suggestions, and they also make some other suggestions. So it's more like working with different people. Mainly you learn. So it's very good experience. And group work and individual work. Sometimes you have to work in groups, and sometimes you have to take the lead and do the stuff. And then you, as I said before, since you're working with multiple people, you learn to be open, you will learn to be open-minded, how to deal with different people, experienced people, and sometimes not experienced, but they have good suggestions and these kind of a thing. So that's why many organizations, not just open source organizations, many software companies or something related to software companies, they value open source culture and also people with open source experience. So because they know that if they have worked in these environments, they can manage large projects and work with working teams. So that's why this is a very good experience that you can put into your CV. Okay, now the most important thing, if you want to participate, the first one is join the GSoC community. So there's a GSoC Google group for GSoC community. So as you can see, this is the main Google group. So you can see many people are posting stuff. So sometimes people can post their questions. Sometimes they will uh, post important notices over here. For example, like this one, Stephanie, she has posted. So Stephanie, she's from Google. Actually, she's the handler. Also Tyler. So they are posting important notice, and also you can post your questions and this kind of a thing over here. So this group is a discussion for Google Summer of Code contributors. Okay. The second thing is find a project or two. So how do we find a project? So you go to organization, and there are so many organizations. Um, let's go to the main page. So here you can go through different kind of organizations, and then you can select one organization. For example, let's choose one organization. Okay, Audacity. So this is a sound changing software, open source. And when you go to the organization, you will see contributors guidance. So this is there's a link for each organization, and it basically says how to apply an information. So in Audacity, you can see different introduction changes and applying to participate. So now this different organizations have different method of dealing with contributors. Sometimes they post their potential projects in some kind of a group. If you go through this organization, what they do is that the contributors project, so they ask you to choose an open issue. So basically, they are your project can be one of these issue. So sometimes it is not the case. They don't ask you to choose issues, but they post small projects in their groups, one or two projects. Sometimes it can be more than the projects that they got selected, because sometimes the organization get selected for two projects, sometimes one project. Likewise, they are allocated slots. So, but contribute because of that, they put more than uh, allocated projects, and contributors can choose one of these projects and write the proposal. So we haven't come to the writing proposal one. The first one is that identifying project. So in this case, selecting one issue, or sometimes it can be identifying the project posted in their group. All right, so once you have a project, then what you have to do is explore this project. Basically, you go and read stuff. So they have mentioned this is so this project is related to this components, and likewise. So you have to explore the project. So you don't need to understand what you have to do, like exactly what you have to do, but you need a higher level idea of what you are going to do. And then the most important thing, once you have the project, you have to start the conversation with the organization. So at during our time, which was 6 years ago, so it's might be changed by now, but we actually started conversation even before they announce, even before announcing organization. So we didn't even know that we are talking with an organization that was going to get selected or not. So this conversation is important, because then you once you have identified the potential project that you are going to do, you need to clarify whether you have understood it or not. If you have questions, you have to ask them from the organization. So it comes to the application because for contributors, the application is actually a project. So you write a proposal for potential project. So you can't write any proposal without having the knowledge of what they need, what the organization needs. So that's why you need to talk with the organization before writing your application, or basically a proposal. Right. So how do so exploring the project. So the first thing when you identify a project, what you have to do is that identify the main project. Or for example, if you talk about Git, it's mainly creating a platform for open source software, or software contributions, and how to deal with multiple people. So then you have to identify the goal of the organization. And then once you have the you know the title of the project, you have to identify what is the goal, what do you need to do and to achieve this goal, and then do stuff. So do stuff means that you have to install stuff, you have to go and break things and read manuals and like this one. So once you have the project, you have to start the conversation. The first thing is identify the communication channel. Most of the time, they have some kind of a communication channel like Google or RC. These kind of, you have to identify the communication channel. Sometimes it can be an email subscribe channel. So it is under your, it should be mentioned in the organization's page. So join this communication channel. The second is that work your mentors. So it means you have to ask questions from your mentors. So once you know the project title, you have to clarify things. You have to question them, but don't expect spoon feeding. It means that don't ask question before doing something. So it basically, let's say, what the difference between spoon feeding and asking question is that, let's say you have to install something, and you try to install it, but at the end you get an error. So spoon feeding is that you ask what is this error, but without actually reading the error and trying to solve that error by yourself. So there's a difference between the spoon feeding and asking question. So it's it's a way for you to learn, uh, and you so it's actually change your character as well. So you try to do something by yourself, but it doesn't mean that you don't ask question or anything. It's just you try to learn. So that and one thing is that your mentors or the people in the community are very busy people, so they might not reply you just after you send them some question or something. Sometimes you won't get a reply. So that's why starting the conversation early as possible as is important. So when you keep bugging them, you will reply, because at that time you're just a potential candidate. You are not actual contributor. So they might not reply you until you get selected. So that's why uh, starting question asking a question is important. So once you keep asking question, your mentors know your name. So it is important too, because once you send your proposal, once you submit your proposals, your mentors know you by name, so they will accept your proposal. The more questions, more valid questions, and if they know your name and if they understand that you are trying to learn and you are trying to do something genuinely, and if they have that impression, they will select you. So it is not Google that select your proposal, it is your mentor. So that's why the conversation is important. So if you don't talk with them and then you suddenly send a proposal and your mentor sees it, so they have no idea whether you are a good contributor, or why they should select you. So this is very important. Okay, then the application. So during the application, you should show the following. The first one is the initial preparation. So the initial preparation includes the main software or the main project. So installing things and reading stuff and then asking valid questions. It is very important. So you should in the application, this should be included. And then once you have the main project idea, then here's your Google's summer of code project idea. So then you write this. The idea of the GSoC project should be aligned with the main project idea. So then you write, so this proposal or this GSoC project can help or can contribute to the main project idea. So it should be the second thing. Then third one is that you are willing to learn, or you can do this stuff, and then the real project idea. This is what I'm going to do, and this is I'm trying to do, something like that. Very small idea. So one thing that you should remember is that your organizations or Google they don't accept expect you to know everything. So this is for new contributors. So you don't need to learn show that you know everything, but the main point is that you know something and you are willing to learn and you're willing to try. So this is the most important thing. So they know that you are new. So it's something to keep in mind. So be genuine when you write the application. Uh, Also show that you are enthusiastic about this one. Okay, right. Application. The tip is send in your the main tip is that send in your application to your project mentor, or sometimes even to your community forum, and then get your feedback. So in my case, I remember one of my mentors was Paulo, and so I started even before the organization got selected. So once their organization got selected, I wrote application, the proposal, and I sent it to them, and then they reply with some changes, and I changed it. And when I submit it to Google, I had a fully accepted proposal in my hand. So I was very confident. There were two people trying for the same project, but I was confident because I had the information I needed. So that's why you need to start the conversation. So your mentors know about yourself, and also you are confident when you apply. All right, so this is actually the end of the presentation. The benefits. So first one, Google pays you according to your location. So if you go to this page describes the payments. And as I said before, there are two projects, medium size and large size. So at our time, there was only one single project. So you get paid. There are no medium size or large size, one project. And also, we were the last GSoC participant where our payment wasn't defined by our location. We all got paid $5,000 at that time. So now it is different. So if you go to Sri Lanka, so now in Sri Lanka, medium size project receive 1,500, large size 3,000. At our time, no location based, so we got paid $5,000. Right. Okay. So the second one is experience. You can put this one in your CV. It is very important, especially when you said Google Summer of Code. This is not just any open source project where you are monitored, not just the organization, but also Google. So that's why this is very important, and you can send your CV confidently to any organization. And codes under your name. So I'm going to brag about my codes, what I did. So this is the past program I did in 2016. So my organization was Vertex. And here you can see there were 3 projects, and this is my code. And you can see the code, and this is Paulo and Julian. So they were my mentors. So if you do your if you join the Summer of Code, you will also have something like this. And the next thing is that gathering arranged by Google. So Google sometimes have some gatherings where past GSoC members, not just that year GSoC participant, but past GSoC contributors can also join. And some small meetings, they were funded by Google. I also went to one Singapore Google meeting, and this most important thing is if you ever apply for Google, you will get a special consideration. And you know that your CV goes through a large tunnel. So if you apply with this one in your CV, then you will get a special consideration. So you can skip some milestone in that tunnel. So it is important too. So the last one, so this is me at Singapore Google meeting. We had nice food, and this is Stephanie. She's the Google handler for Google Summer of Code participants. She's still now, so you saw her emails. And this is Kat, and we had a nice vacation actually. So all right, so that's the end of the presentation. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer.
For your valuable guidance regarding Google Summer of Code. let's move to the questions that participants have asked. Actually, there are a lot of questions, but with the limited time we have, we will try to ask questions as much as possible. Our first question is how are the applications for GSoC are selected? What factor do they determine the skills set of the students?
Sorry, could you please ask it again?
Yes, sure. How are the applications for GSoC selected? On what, on what factors do they determine the skills set
Oh,
of a student?
okay. The first thing is that it's not Google that select your proposal. It's the organization selects it, and then they actually say that we select these projects, and then Google will accept this. So when the organizations select the contributors application, they mainly look for the proposal and how well you talked with them. And the second thing is that do you have initial like basic skills? For example is that like if you're going to program some software or anything, you need to have some basic coding skills. And then because you are going to work for a new software or something like that, your proposal should give some hints about that you know some details about the organization. As I said before, the main important thing is that you talk with your mentors. Basically, when you talk with your mentors, you can you will learn that whether your application is going to get selected or not.
Miss, the next question is what programming languages should we know to participate in GSoC?
Okay, it depends on the organization. For example, if you join with like for let's say something like operating systems, then you need to understand assembly or C, very basic programming languages. But sometimes you don't need. For example, let's take Vertex, what I did. So I needed four languages actually. It's not just one. So I had to code in Java, C Sharp, and Python. At that time, I didn't know C Sharp at all. So it wasn't a problem. I showed them I know Java, Python, C. So I can do a C Sharp contribution as well. I can learn. So that's important. So there are no single thing that you need must know this language. It depends on the organization, but still, even if you don't know too much about your programming language, you can show that you're willing to learn. So that's important.
Yes, madam. And we have another question from the. I don't know even a small fraction of technologies listed in the GSoC projects. How am I going to learn them all?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Yes, I repeat the question. Ma'am. I do not know even a small fraction of technologies listed in the GSoC projects. How am I going to learn them all?
So, okay. So you only got 12 weeks of period. So do that project. So within 12 weeks, you can do a lot, and also you can do not. So that question is tough. So I would say that if you know, if you're confident that you can learn something that within 12 weeks, just apply.
The next question is, what are the other skills we need to improve the participant in GSoC?
So as I said, basic skills are important. And then the most important thing is the way of you preparing the code. Sorry, the proposal. So that's why I told you the conversation is important. So the main thing in GSoC is that, as well as in any open source community, talk with people, talk with the organization, and try to create then try to create a good proposal. So talking with them helps you to understand most of this stuff, even though you don't know anything about anything else. When you start creating the proposal, you will keep learning when you talk with them. The main factor is talking with the mentors. The second one is the basic skills that you show. The third one is writing a good proposal. And not to mention that in Sri Lanka, even during our time, 56 people, 56 students join GSoC. So it is not something impossible to do. Many people do it. So the best thing is that starting point, keep exploring, keep finding projects.
What would you suggest to select the most suitable project if something goes wrong about the project? What would happen?
Sorry, I actually I have some hearing problems. Probably my internet is not good. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what would you suggest to select the most suitable project? If something goes wrong about completing the project, what would happen?
All right, so about selecting the project. So first, you know the skills you have, and sometimes it can be a preference. For example, if you know so many programming languages and you just want to go for a high reputed organization, can be anything. But once you have once you know your skill, you can search a organization that's suitable for your skills. For example, the programming languages you know, or the software that you have used before, something like that. And so that's how to select projects. And the third one is that once you see the GSoC project, not the organization, but the GSoC project, you if you think the project is good, then you can select. Sometimes the project can be different from what you're interested in. So no point of doing it. But finding something interesting according to your skill is the answer. So what, and this for the second question, if something goes wrong in the middle, what will happen? So this time I'm not sure, but during our time, we get paid in 3 different milestones. So we, as I said, we got paid $5,000. So the first milestone was the selected. So if you get selected, you get paid. So we also did, we got paid $500. And then there was the mid evaluation. During the mid evaluation, you have to submit a report, and basically your mentors accept that you have done it. So if you have done something, then your mentors will accept it, because that's after that you are going to work again. So they will be very lenient about it. So during that time you get half of your payment, and then the final exam. So the final evaluation, you get paid the rest. So it's very rare for something to go wrong once you get accepted. But if something goes wrong, you still get paid, and you still have some kind of a code or some kind of a contribution under your name. So it's worth trying.
Can we submit more than one proposal?
So, okay, I'm not sure about this time, but yes, you can submit more than one proposal during time. But I would say don't go and submit like 10 more proposals trying to increase your accepted probate. It's not the case. So focus on one project.
And the next question is, how will GSoC help me in my career?
Sorry,
How will GSoC help me in my career?
okay, the first thing is that let's think about Sri Lanka, not worldwide, but in Sri Lanka, Google Summer of Code has a good reputation. So if you have participated, they know that you can work in teams. So that's one way of showing that I know I can work in teams. So rather than going to an interview and saying that I can work in teams, you have the evidence. I have participated in open source community softwares. So okay, this is my evidence. That's for social skills. The other one is the knowledge, your professional skills. So you get to learn stuff, you get to learn new code, programming methods, conventions, for example. Writing a code in your machine during a university time, you don't follow all the standards, or nobody will mark you. Even our exam, we for example project examples, we don't go through all the standards or how to write an efficient program. But when you participate Google, you can't do that. All of your programs are clearly monitored. Your mentors, not just your mentors, but whole community, they review your code. So you can't submit some garbage and they will get merged into the base code. So your project, your coding skills are monitored, reviewed, and that's why it's very important. So rather than think about it as a working experience in a high reputable organization. So think about it like that. So that's the second skill, the knowledge skill. And the third one is that you can brag about your codes. You have your Google Summer of Code in your CV. And in my case, I did internship at GSoC'22, and also I worked there for 1 year. So basically, during the internship interview, Google Summer of Code basically helped me.
Can you suggest a new project idea to the organization based on issues?
Sorry?
Can we suggest new project ideas to organization based on issues?
Okay, so it depends on the organization. As we saw in that other city, so which is their culture is that you suggest a proposal according to the issues, but it's not the case in every case. So you have to go and see their organization. I just took one example. Most of the time they publish potential projects in their groups or their forums, sometimes email channels. So identify, so you have to go and read their projects. So yes, you're suggesting is very rare. You're suggesting something very rare unless it is mentioned in the group.
And the final question is, which type of category would you prefer to contribute the project as beginner?
Sorry, which category? What do you mean?
Which
which
type of category?
Okay, I hope then the question is about small or large project ideas. I think I'm going to make a pre-assumption about the question. So if it is about large and small project, just go for large project. So it's not about the money. I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the social skill that you are going to learn while doing the project. So go for something higher, and if you learn, you're done. Otherwise, you will at least end up with a small project idea. So try large ones according to your skills. Yeah, I will suggest you to go for large project.
Thank you, Ms. Jamini. So those are the questions we received, and we hope that you could clear out all the clarifications you had regarding the Google Summer of Code. We hope it is better to have your ideas to understand the overall success of our session on Road to GSoC. A feedback form will be sent to you through the chat box, and we kindly request you all to provide the feedback regarding today's session. And now I invite all of you to turn on the cameras to take a group photograph to keep as a memory of this precious moment. We will give you a few seconds to prepare yourself, and the technical team will provide the support in it. Please turn on your cameras to take the group photograph.
So guys, now we are going to take a group photo. We already sent a virtual background on the chat box. Please put that as your background and get ready to take the photo. Okay, seems like most of the participants are ready. Then I will give a countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, everyone. Actually, today's session was amazing, and we appreciate the dedication and the support given by our resource person, Ms. Jaimini Alupatha. So, as the honor of providing a valuable contribution towards the success of this session, the organizing committee of Boost 1.0 is ready to issue you a token of appreciation. Ms. Jaimini, I invite you to accept it. Thank you, madam. Before coming to the end of this session, I must say that there are a lot of people behind this favorable outcome of this session. So I invite the secretary of Boost 1.0, Lasiji Gunaratna, to deliver the word of thanks.
Thank you, Tejani. Good evening, all of you. So I hope you all are keeping safe and fine in this current situation in Sri Lanka. As the co-secretary of the project Boost 1.0, there are not enough words to express my feelings about the success of this Road to GSoC 2022 session. First of all, I would like to show my appreciation to Ms. Jaimini Alupatha for being here as the resource person for the Road to GSoC 2022 awareness session, even on a really busy schedule. We learn a lot from you today, madam, and I know that everyone here agrees with that. Along with that, showing my warmest gratitude to the academic advisors of this project, including Dr. Dhammika Alkaduwa, for dedicating their precious time to this session, for the valuable guidance, and for all the supportive efforts are given to us. Secondly, I would like to extend my gratitude to the student advisors of this project for their support being for allocating their valuable time to lead the Road to GSoC 2022 to its success. Then I would like to thank the executive committee members of IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter of SLTC and IEEE Student Branch of SLTC for all the dedication, motivation, advice, and support which led this project to its massive success. Next, I would like to thank all the participants. Given the current situation in country, I highly appreciate your participation in this session. I hope you all have gained vast knowledge from Road to GSoC 2022, and I wish the best of luck to everyone with their future plans. Without you, this session won't be successful. Last but not least, I would like to show my appreciation to the organizing committee of Boost 1.0. Under a lot of pressure, ups and downs, you have given massive success to Road to GSoC 2022. Thank you once again for your hard work, dedication, and motivation. We hope that project will mark a turning point in Sri Lanka that will lead to many victories in the near future, as well as arouse interest in GSoC competition among university students. Thank you all once again for making this session a great success. Stay safe, everyone. Over to you, Tejani.
Thank you, Laksisi. Here is the end of today's valuable session. I once again offer my sincere thanks to you all for your presence here today. Thank you.